Suzuki! How's it going over here? Everything good?
Yeah, pretty good. Everything's going well.
Beautiful. You feel very relaxed, man. I'm really nervous right here, and you're like, oh, everything's going good. Everything's going good. So I'd love you to describe what you're making for the judges, please.
Sure. Today I'm making a Japanese-French fusion food, and for the sauce I'm using the fish head to make a fish fillet, and on the side there will be parsnip, potato puree, and artichoke.
Beautiful. You want to get a close up on that little fish head. I think that is beautiful. He's waving at me. We're waving at him. That's really cool. We'll get it later. Suzuki, thank you for being here. Thanks for being a CIA student. This is fantastic. Number 8, Suzuki. Okay, and your first name is, we call him George. George Suzuki.
Sure, it's Gakuyu.
Gakuyu? Gakuyu. I love that. That's so cool. So Suzuki's number 8. We're going to go to his bio right now.
My name is Gakuyu Suzuki. I'm 22 years old. I'm half Japanese, half Chinese. I grew up mostly in Beijing, China because of my parents' work, and I finished my high school in Japan, and I came here for the university in 2018. And my inspiration, like many other young cooks in this world, comes from watching the videos of Gordon Ramsay. And a couple years back, I watched this movie called Burn, which is when I learned of real fine dining cuisine in Michelin restaurants, and that's when I wanted to make something beautiful in culinary world. Well, my mom likes to cook both Japanese and Chinese cuisines. Well, my favorite dishes are in the breakfast. She'll make the Japanese egg rolls with using the dashi. When I first heard about CIA, I made some research on Google, and that's when I learned that CIA is the world's best culinary school. And I really wanted to visit the campus, and I had the opportunity during my visit for the summer camp. In this school, I not only learned the cooking itself, I also learned the whole picture of hospitality, about the restaurant industry and how we treat customers. My main goal is to create the school in mainland China because I see a lot of people who grew more interested in Western cuisines. They like to dine in French fine dining restaurants, and they like to taste high-end wines from France. And I'm very excited for this. For the fish, I'll be reverse searing it in the low temperature oven and sear the skin to a crisp. For my sauce, I'll be using the fish head to make a fish fillet using the dashi ingredients such as kombu seaweed, dry shiitake, and katsuobushi. And for my side components, I'll make a yuzu jelly using agar-agar to make a little citrus caviars. And it has elements of both Japanese and French, and I also utilized many of the French cooking techniques that I mentioned in my introductory video. Thank you for all of you for taking the time to watch my first competition live. I really appreciate all the support that you're giving me, and I will do my best.
And here he is, everybody.
Yeah, but in general, it's sort of, in general, it's like most of the it's kind of thing, you know, it's sort of like, yeah, wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Suzuki, welcome. Welcome. So once we get that cleared, just make sure you talk into that, and it's all yours. Everyone, Suzuki, describe your dish and bring it out. Okay, there you go. Thank you, Suzuki. Everybody, Suzuki.
Hello, judges. The dish that I take of this dish is Japanese and French fusion. In Japanese culture, we value that we use every part of animal to honor them. So I use fish head to make the sauce it's a white sauce on the top. On the bottom is a parsnip and potato puree seasoned with katsuobushi, which is bonito flake. And the fish is gently seared and finished in the oven. On the left, you have an artichoke. It is boiled in lemon water with yuzu jelly. This is inspired by French pickled artichoke flavor. On the side note, the sauce also has dashi ingredients, and it's finished with the French fumet method. I think this dish represents a lot of things. First of all, all the French techniques that I use in this dish I learned here at the CIA. So I think it really represents my culinary journey and growth. And also, I think there's some Japanese elements in the dish as well. Hope you enjoy.
Excellent.
Beautiful dish. The dish is warm.
What type of flowers did you use here?
That is Bora, chef.
Oh, that's
Origin, Natasha. Plus the pure is pure.
Thank you, chef.
very refined. Purees. Ethereal.
Wow.
The texture of the cacao is just stupendous. It is so right on. What's going on in my tongue right now? The textures, the silkiness of the sauce, the puree, good amount of acidity from the yuzu. It's well thought out. It's very refined. I mean, I just like I would love a nice glass of white burgundy with this. I'd be very, 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 very happy.
It's fascinating to me. I mean, there's such a high skill level of technique going on here, and you take this very seriously. It's really thought out. I love the way that it marries your own professional journey. I mean, just food for thought, just two guys talking food together. I actually thought the sauce that you had on the outside, I like better than I like the turnip, parsnip puree. The parsnip puree is really good. Please don't get me wrong. It's excellent. I might have reversed it. If I was working with you in a kitchen, we were just playing around and we had more of those elements together, I'd say, hey, let's plate one and reverse it and have more of that sauce, put the fish on top of that, put the puree next to it on the side, nuzzled with those lemony artichokes, which were superb, by the way. And I think it would have been slightly more interesting and played better with the fish, because I think the sauce tasted better with the fish than the puree did. Once I get it all together, I'm eating it with the artichoke, but it's so hard to figure out how people are going to mix and match things. So this is the fun part to me of cooking, is like, okay, you nailed the 5 or 6 elements. Now, how much are you going to use of each one and where? Where is it going to be on the plate and what's going to touch what? So that people get that bite automatically that you want them to have as the first bite. And I would just give this one piece of advice, if it was just you and I alone, would be make sure that the flavors you want people to taste together first are next to each other. Don't leave it up to someone else to maybe ignore those artichokes, because that would be an insane sin, right? You're not always going to be tableside with people, telling them what they are, and that intrigued me. You poached them in lemon. I happen to love artichoke. I'm like, oh, there's the acidity. I got what you were doing, and I dove in there with each bite, and it really went bonkers for me in my mouth in a very good way. But I would start to think that way. You clearly have the skill level to execute, so now you got to think here instead of thinking down here. It's a beautiful dish, also very subtle, which I like. You're not hitting anyone over the head with a sledgehammer, which means that you really got to get everything right, and you did. It's a really, really beautiful dish.
Thank you, chef.
Well, since we're just a bunch of guys talking in the kitchen, maybe I agree with you. And what I thought of before, and I even mentioned the acidity was good. I wanted more acidity. To be perfectly honest with you. Even like a supreme of lemon, or it could be orange. I mean, your choice of citrus. If you want to have some sweetness, you could bring in an orange. But I wanted just a little bit more acidity to make the full party. Everybody's joining that party. So it's a balancing act. But again, I'm going to stick with this is a very refined dish.
Thank you, chef.
That's a compliment.
Yeah, true compliment. I totally agree that I would love to see more of that sauce. That sauce is intensely beautiful. This is an extremely elegant, very, high star dish that you put out here. That sauce needs to stand out a little bit more. The other thing is I'm kind of curious is this treatment of the skin. In general, a lot of people feel like you have to crisp that skin up. What is your feeling, and did you think that would represent the dish by crisping it more or making the skin crispy?
Okay, during my prep this time, I actually had a lot of tries with the skin, and a couple of things that I tried is with the scale on. I tried to do a Japanese scale fry, but the kahala scale was not very soft enough to puff off, so I took the scale off, and I realized that with the scale off, if I crispen the skin, it'll overcook the fish. So I wanted to use a gentle fire and treat the fish in the medium fire.
You're so right. I mean, and I love the method that you're going through. So then there's like 3 or 4 other ways to do it. You can take a hot piece of charcoal, binchotan, and actually just touch it to the skin. You can take a torch and hit that on the skin. There's lots of other things that you can do to achieve that. Don't give up, right? Because you're absolutely right. All of those things don't work, and you were smart to leave the skin on rather than overcook the fish. But don't leave us with the flaccid skin. Solve the problem, because there are ways to do it, right?
Yeah, of course. Thank you, chef.
Yeah, Suzuki, I would add that this dish, if we were served this and without you being here, I feel like this dish is far beyond your years. Like, I feel like it's so refined that I feel like I've been served from a professional chef. Tinkering with the flavors a bit, I agree. It feels very French to me, and I want more of your Japanese pulls, which might add some complexity to the flavors. Again, I think that sauce is great. Even the artichoke, delicious, and that gave a little of the acidity you're talking about there. And I wonder, this is just me, but I'm wondering about the color. Would you have perhaps done a purple potato puree or something to alter the color between the cream sauce and the cream puree? I'm wondering about that. But those are, again, fine details, but really well done, and truly, to echo the word refined, I think that's a really good word for this dish.
Thank you, chef.
Look beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think your technical ability was superb. The only thing that to me was missing, and if you couldn't get the skin crisp, add a crisp element, because everything was soft. So if there'd been a crunch to that dish, it would have been absolutely spot on. But I think your technical ability is superb. You came in the kitchen confident. You look confident now. You've got a great career ahead of you. Well done.
Thank you, chef.
Yeah, thank you so much. I love this. I totally see this sitting on the menu at a fine dining restaurant, that kind of thing. I was actually going to say the first thing that I tasted where I kind of had that wow moment was the outside sauce. And if you could somehow have thickened that sauce or something like that, put that in the middle and taken away the other one even, is what I would. I think it would have, at least for me, I was almost kind of confused, which sauce to be going for, if I should combine them, that kind of thing. And I love that one on the outside. So this is fantastic.
Thank you, chef.
Nice job, Suzuki.